Hey everyone, it's Penberthy here, and in today's video I want to be chatting with this fella right here. His name's John Lee. If you haven't looked him up, he has millions and millions of followers across Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and I want to talk about social media and where things are going. Stay tuned. So me and John are currently here in Dubai together. It's actually my first time. I haven't been here before. We're speaking at an event that's put on by a wonderful company called Najahi with Les Brown headlining, who is, by the way, the most genuine, sincere person I think I've ever met. He's so kind, and there's lots of ways we're going to be helping each other, which is awesome. But I wanted to pull John away just real quick because he did a presentation on social media, and he has not just a big following, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that can be influencers and have millions of followers on Facebook and Instagram, but are they actually making money? Are they actually growing a business? Are they actually successful with what they're doing? A lot of people I know have millions of followers, but they're not actually making the coin that they should be from that. And what I'm really liking and inspired about John is that he has the best of both, right? So he's got the big following, but also he's figured out ways to monetize and actually pull a business from his following. So I want to just jump in here real quick, ask you a few questions that I think would benefit the audience. My first one being, how did you first get into all this social media stuff? You know, like the first few followers, the first few accounts, like where did it all begin?
It started because I was speaking. The more I spoke, the more people would start adding me on social media. And then they would ask questions like, oh, John, I just heard your speech about, for example, I first started out in real estate. And I was wondering if you could help me with my real estate. And so I got a lot of people kept asking me to sit down with them for coffee, have coffee every single day. And really the only reason is because they wanted to pick my brain. So it got to a point where the more I spoke, the more messages I got, and the more people would invite me for coffee. And so I got to a point where I'd have to say no, because otherwise I'd be every day going for coffee. And so then I thought, well, listen, I've got to start charging for this. So then one time I just said, oh yeah, I'm really busy, but if you really want to spend some time, I'm going to have to charge for my time. And I felt really bad asking for it. I was like, I'm going to have to charge for my time. Is that okay? And I said, yeah, sure. How much is it? I'm like, it's £1,000. I just thought, £1,000.
Picked a number.
And then bang, yeah, sure. How do I pay? I'm like, whoa, that was easy. And so then the more I spoke, the more opportunities came. People would say, John, I've got this property I want to buy. How do I buy it? Can you help me buy it? And so I started doing a lot of consulting. And so the more I spoke, the more people started doing this. And then one day I got a message from Wiley Publishing in Singapore. They saw one of my YouTube videos. They contacted me. They flew me out to Singapore, and then they sat me down. They asked me a few questions. How many speaking engagements do you do? How big? At the time, I only had 5,000 followers at that time. Right. So it wasn't massive.
Right.
And so they said, okay, well, listen, if you are interested, we'd be happy to pay you money to write a book. And we come from this industry of, you write your own ebook, you put it online, you sell it. People were going to actually pay me money to write a book.
And by the way, we do all that work to put out an ebook, and then no one ever sees it or reads it.
Right. And so the first book I wrote was a book called The Wealth Dragon Way. And that was specifically about mindset, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. And over the last 10 years, I actually created these principles. Every year I learned this principle, and in the book we talk about these 10 principles of how do we how do we create more success in our life. And so that book sold thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of copies. And one day, when the book launched, I started getting more followers. People said, oh yeah, John, I just read your book. And people would take pictures of the book. They would tag me in the post. And I was like, well, there's got to be something here with the social media stuff. And so then I started getting into content. And for 2 years, I actually started on YouTube many years ago. But YouTube's actually my weakest channel out of all the other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook.
Which is the largest right now? Which one?
Facebook.
Facebook's big, okay.
Facebook's my highest converting for business, because it's just the demographic targeting is insane. So when I started to do that, I started putting out content, and then each video would get 50 views, 100 views, 1,000 views. Now, one video I put on Facebook's had over 10 million reach. Wow. Every time I put a post on Facebook, on Instagram now. I mean, I think I maybe showed you this post.
Is that the one where you're walking and talking and you're talking about the 10? I know, that's in that one.
So I call it the 10 habits of self-made millionaires.
That's it,
But then I put this, I don't know if you guys can see this post, maybe I'll take a screen grab and send it to you.
Yeah.
But this post here, I'll put this post up.
Watch this. Watch this.
All right.
Throw it up on the screen.
Okay, cool. And then if you look at the insights, it's 1.4 million, 28,000 profile visits.
Wow.
So, you know, what I started to realize is the more content I put out, the more followers I started getting.
Yep.
And then people would send me messages. So it's kind of like the first thing that happened, but then it was just that on scale.
Yeah.
So that's really how it all kind of kicked off.
But things have now come full circle, right? Because you started out building a social presence, and then realized you could start monetizing it. But I know for you now, you're getting huge speaking engagements, huge opportunities because you have a big following now.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some examples of? I mean, for my audience, I know they're trying to grow a following. They know. I talk about this all the time. We talk about paid ads, but I also talk about the importance of the long game, building an audience. So my audience is attempting to do that too.
Okay.
What are some of the examples of opportunities that have come your way purely because of the follow account that you have on your Instagram and Facebook?
Well, the first thing is speaking engagements. So I just got invited to speak on stage with Tony Robbins.
Amazing.
There's 4,000 people there.
Yeah.
Do an interview. So I actually got invited to Vietnam to do an interview with Richard Branson, which I had to turn down.
Right.
That was crazy.
Yep.
Because I just had so many engagements happening at the same time. I listed a company on a stock exchange. So last year I did an IPO.
Yeah.
So and through social media, I was able to find over 300 investors to invest in my company.
Yep.
And the city was crazy. The city said to us, how many investors do you have? And normally when a company goes public, they have a handful of cornerstone investors. When we said we had over 300, they were gobsmacked. They said, well, how do you do that? Yeah. And they just couldn't understand. And also, normal companies, they go through something called institutional investment, which means they have to go to a VC, they have to go to an. We didn't. All our investors were retail. And they couldn't so that's how we kept a big chunk of our company without having to give so much away to investors. So we raised millions and millions and millions of pounds through using social media.
Amazing.
Property deals. Right. So we find a lot of property deals. So when I post about property, I'll say, do you know anyone who's selling a property in this area? And people would message me and say, this person, I have a friend selling, so we pick up a lot of property deals. There's so book deals. The book deals came from that. So not just one book, we have 3 books now with Wiley Publishing.
Amazing.
So talent, we attract a lot of talent as well. So
for your own events, to bring people to...
No, I'm talking about a talent funnel. So we all talk, you hear a lot of people talk about sales funnels, right?
Yeah.
But it's really important to grow a team.
I see. Yeah,
a lot
got
of people that work for our company now, like one of our sales guys is one of my social media followers.
Right.
People, and you mentioned events, so I do have a training company as well. Yeah. A lot of those people come from social media. Like I'll say, hey, I'm going to be in Dubai. If you're interested, swipe up. Yep. So it's such the goal of social media is not to have social media, is to use it for a purpose for distribution. Yeah. I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's great. That's super good. So for my audience, probably going from, let's just say, everyone says 0. They're not at 0. They've got their mum and dad on Facebook. They've got a handful of friends. To go from that to getting momentum, I think it's stupid when people do these interviews and they say, right, John, you've got 1 million followers. Tell my audience how they can get 1 million followers. Yeah. It's not. There's baby steps, and you do those steps again and again and again. Yeah. So what would be maybe the top 1, 2, or 3 things that they need to do to just start getting some momentum?
Yeah. Okay. So I called it the social media loop. A lot of people, they try and grow, and I saw your presentation yesterday, and by the way, this guy's amazing.
Thanks.
At webinars. I mean, I want to call you the king of webinars. The king of webinars.
I like that.
So you showed a slide with one guy with all these different directions, and everyone's been pulled in a different direction, and they've been 10% here, 10%, 10% here. And I thought, and it's so true, a lot of people are trying to do everything at one time. Yep. But if you use a social media looping strategy, you can do one and everything at the same time. Yep. So what I do is I grow on Facebook first. And the reason why Facebook's so important is because Facebook's the easiest to grow on. Yeah. Because there's so many viral factors. There's shares, it's easy to share. Yeah. And what we do is we go from Facebook, and now in Facebook you have Facebook stories that you can swipe into your Instagram. Yeah. So now we pull people from Facebook into Instagram, because Instagram's the second hardest to grow on. Yeah. Right? The hardest one to grow on is YouTube. Yeah. So what we do is we take it from Facebook and Instagram now, because in those platforms they will start to viral and gain more followers. Yeah. And the extra new followers we get from that, we pull them in. So from Instagram, when they go from Facebook, Instagram to YouTube. So now every Instagram profile, there's 3 types of accounts. You got creator, you got business, and you have personal. If you turn it to a creator and a business, you can have a bio link. You click the bio link, that bio link will go bang straight to your YouTube. And what we do is, so on YouTube, so like for example, this video you're saying is on YouTube, you'll take, and when you put it into YouTube, you'll see all the spikes in the interest. You're going to take all the 2-second pieces that are the spikes, and you put that into a 1-minute trailer, or actually 1 minute and 10-second trailer on Instagram, because anything over a minute it turns into IGTV. IGTV gets more reach. And so what we do is we use that as a trailer to drive back to YouTube to get more subscribers and more followers. Love that.
So what he was talking about from my presentation, and I love John because he does this same thing. I was explaining this idea that if you've got this list of things that you need to do for your business every day, and on that list is post to Facebook, post to Instagram, oh yeah, I've got to look into that Twitter thing, someone talking about Pinterest, I've got to jump on there, and then I've got to do this YouTube thing. And if you have a list of 20 things that you're doing in the day, your attention and your energy and your time is spread across 20 different things. What I like about what I've seen John do is Facebook. He grew that account, he doubled down and he grew that account and he grew it tremendously. Then he said, okay, now I've got this audience, let's start to move people over to Instagram so we can grow that at the same time. Then YouTube, and you've got this little loop there. I love it because it makes so much sense, because if you're trying to do everything at the same time, nothing gets done.
And then here's a little hack. So I wrote a book called Business Hack, and one of the hacks that I talk about in there is that, so what we do is we get these and then we cipher the content out and the contact details. So now social media is all about the fastest engagement. So every platform you have to get as much engagement as fast as possible. So what you do is when you have a list, so I grew a list of 278,000 people, of which I would say 80,000 of those are highly engaged. So now when I create a video now, bang, I can move all my stuff and start to trend because now I'm driving the views through my list as a boost on top of everything else.
Love it. That's fantastic. I really like that. So you should go grab that book, but what's it called?
Business Hack.
Business Hack, very cool. So I want to wrap up with this. I mean, you've been around the social media space for a while, you know this game. What do you see the changes are? I mean, we're posting this early 2020. What do you see the big changes are for this year? Or have you noticed any? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. You may say, actually, there's a bit of a coast right now, or you might see some trends. What are you seeing in across these different platforms?
So definitely the first thing that's changing is editing style. So for example, for YouTube, it used to be, hi, this is John Lee, I'm from Wealth Dragons. Now it's kind of like we're adopting the film, like my background's in TV and film. So the way they make films is they have a beginning, middle and end, or they have an end, beginning, middle and end. So they'll show the end. Have you ever seen a film where they show the end first? What the hell's happening?
And then they go back 10 years before.
Correct. And so that's how the social media stuff's now being edited. Or they'll have one of these like coming up now, like do you like these really quick snappy things to get them in. So one of the things I've noticed is that attention span's getting lower and lower and lower. So what we have to start doing is getting better at storytelling, getting better at content, getting better at editing specific points. And once we've got that, I see that's happening. I see also a big push in collaborations. So a lot of the big influencers that I know, we're going to be all collaborating, not just I make a post for you, you make a post for me. It's like I'm going to have you in my video.
Like we're doing right now.
Correct. Exactly. Right? As a cameo and vice versa. So I'm seeing a lot of that happening now. Storytelling and content production as well. Definitely seeing a higher quality. More and more people, it's become easier and easier now to produce higher quality content. So I just see so much happening in the sense of it's not, social media will stay the same, regardless of whether it's TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram. It's just distribution. What's changing is the way we produce content.
Awesome. And what's cool about you saying that is we're seeing, because obviously you're more the organic guy, I'm running paid ads. We're seeing a very similar thing with our ads, right? I teach our students that one of the foolish things you could do, one of the stupidest things you could do, is start your video when no one's ever seen you before, they have no idea who you are, your brand or anything. Start the video by saying something along the lines of, let's say you're walking your dog and you say, hey everyone, it's John Penberthy here, just out here. It's a beautiful sunny day in London, just walking the dog. And anyway, I wanted to tell you about, you've lost them. They're gone. The first few seconds that they're gone, and this was an ad. So I talk about the fact that like even in your ads, like you have to jump forward first and you have to say, hey, real quick, if you're a business owner and you're struggling with this, I want to help you. My name's John Penberthy. I'm this, that, and the other. Right, so exactly the same thing. Love it, good stuff. Well, hey guys, look, here's what we're gonna do. In the description box, we will leave John's details. What's it called on Instagram? A handle? I don't even know this stuff.
It's called an Instagram handle.
Instagram. We'll leave your Instagram.
If you go to Instagram, you just type in John Lee, you'll see the one with the verified account. So it's got a blue tick. And same on Facebook, it's John Lee Public, it's my public page. So they're all verified accounts.
Great, so just go search for John. We'll leave links below to him as well. And if you're new to the channel, by the way, go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. The only way that we know that you're enjoying these videos is if you give us some engagement. So hit that like button, leave us a comment, let us know what was the biggest takeaway you got from this video, what John said, and I will see you in a future video. Take care, bye-bye.